Hello, hello.
You. I just finished my walk and now I am just putting stuff for getting my stuff ready for tomorrow. So if I'm not around, I mean I'm here, but if I'm on pause, it's because I'm doing stuff.
No worries, no worries. As long as you can listen, that's all good.
Yes, 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 yes,
How's
yes.
everyone doing? I just finished bath time. Well, at least the first part of bath time, and now Daddy's finishing it and doing bed time, and that's how we roll. How are you guys doing? Coach Dorota joined us here today. She's live with us. Give me 1 second so I can go ahead and share my screen. Now, does anyone have any win to share this week? Anything that any insights, anything that came out of our last conversation, which believe it or not, it's been a week ago already. But any insights, any wins, any new stuff going on this past week?
Well, I shared my win on Monday, but I'll share it again because it's a big one.
Yeah.
I was able to PR in my deadlift with a stiff leg deadlift because I finally got the Versagrip. And it
Oh, how many times did I have to tell you to get the Versagrips?
Oh my God.
150
Oh
times?
yeah. And that's like, yeah,
Maybe?
putting it like, yes, maybe. Yep. So ladies, if you trust your
You
coach
listen
when
to
she
your
says so.
coach. The first time she
Who would have
tells you
thought?
something.
So yeah, I'm proud of myself.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to share anything? Any wins, any insights, anything that's going well this week? Nothing? All good? How are you feeling, Dorota, after your procedure yesterday? Are you good?
I feel good. I'm tired, but that's expected. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good. Back at it. So that's good.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
All
we've
right,
seen so
Carrie.
many,
Yeah, go
we've
ahead.
and I say we've seen so many wins inside the app that now it's everybody. No, no, no one wants to
Yeah,
share.
yeah. Nobody else has anything else to share. Carrie, how are you doing? You're quiet today.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm sick. Hey, I
Oh
woke up
no.
sick. My
Today's my
throat's on
best day,
fire.
so I feel you.
Yeah, it's like that. And all three of my kids are sick. The littlest one, we have to go get an x-ray. They think he has pneumonia and they want him to go to hospital. And I don't want to go to hospital. So I'm just trying to chill out, hence the quietness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hope you guys feel
Yeah.
better soon. It's just awful. Last week, Melissa was sick the whole entire week because she came back with the flu and then developed a ear infection. And I was like, okay, I'm in the clean. Like my immune system strong as heck. Like I'm out of this. Nobody caught anything. Then on Friday, I started having fever, body aches, and all the things. And then on Saturday, I was completely knocked out, completely out of commission, couldn't do anything. And then Sunday, a bit better. Yesterday, a bit better, but still congested and oh. And today, just a little bit of body ache and just like that, that lingering tiredness and oh, it's just yucky.
I saw you on Instagram. I saw how sick you are. Yeah, I feel just like that. All of those things. So yeah, on the other side of the world.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm back from the dad today. Today's the best day out of the past few days, but hopefully tomorrow I'm like, okay, 100% let's do it.
Did you work out? Have you
No,
been able to work out?
absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Oh
No, no.
my goodness. What's
There's
going to
no
happen
point.
to me?
There's no point, ladies. I know that it's absolutely, uh, there's no point in pushing through when you're feeling like crap. You're not going to
Okay.
have a good workout. You're not going to have a productive session. You're not going to recover well. And you just risk spreading whatever you're going through to other people. Like
Oh,
yesterday, I woke up with all the intentions to go to the gym because I was like, okay, I don't feel physically anything anymore. I could go. But I was sneezing, I was coughing, like I was blowing my nose every 2 seconds. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna at the gym and they're gonna be like, get out of here, you're sick, you know. So
yeah.
there's no point in pushing. Just give your body what it needs, fluids, rest, nutritious foods, and patience. And when you're feeling better, you go to the gym.
Yes. Okay. It feels like weird. Like I can't think for 5 days without it. So I'll just do one day at a time.
Yeah, one day at a time, one day at a time. You'll survive. You'll survive. All right, ladies, let's jump in. Tonight's topic is staying on track while enjoying life guilt-free. So basically, reinforcement on some tips on how to navigate social life without derailing your progress. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Um, as always, let me know if you can see it.
Yep, we can
And I'll
see it.
go and present. I'm always lost with all these buttons. Why? All right. Perfect. Can you see my screen? All good? And as you know, as I'm going through everything, I just don't want you to just absorb information because more information doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do something with it. What I want you to get out of these trainings is actionable things that you can implement right away. Okay. You see me talking a lot about the abundance of information. There's information out there, like you can pretty much find out about anything online, but more information without implementation is just, a waste of energy. So make sure that we're getting takeaways from this, actionable things that you can do, and take notes all throughout. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat while I'm speaking, because then I can go ahead towards the end and address those questions. And some of the things you can even put in your to-do list or like your calendar and things like that as reminders. So you remember to implement what we're discussing tonight. Okay. So, all right. Who here has a little bit of a hard time navigating social life, eating out, managing, traveling and things like that while you're on your plan? Especially fat loss, I want to say, because it's a little bit more of a, there's more restriction. Your budget is a little bit lower. So you got to be a little bit more smart with how you make those decisions around food. Who here struggles or at least find it challenging to stick to your plan navigating social life? Just put it in the chat. But I guarantee it's probably majority of you because it can be challenging, right? So what we're going to cover today, how to enjoy restaurants, vacations, events without setbacks, strategies for drinking alcohol while staying on track. Okay. Not encourage you to drink alcohol, but if you are going to drink, there are ways to do it that are not going to derail your progress too much, and setting boundaries that keep you in control without necessarily feeling restricted. Okay. So the number one fear that many of you will have is the fear of falling off, right? And that even happens when we get sick or whatever life throws at us. We have that fear of, okay, I don't want to undo any of my progress. I've worked so hard to get up until this point. I don't want to undo any of my progress. And the first thing that you need to understand is that you're not going to undo the whole progress that you've made in months and months and months in just one scenario, one situation, one event. The repetition of certain habits and certain things that can obviously derail and keep you stuck without making progress. But one meal does not have the ability to erase all of that work that you've put in for months and months on end. Okay. And then the second thing is I feel guilty after eating out because you probably are not quite confident on how to make decisions around food, around drinks, around other people, around your social circle, and you feel like you did something wrong. The third is I don't want to miss out, but I don't want to go backwards either. So you're always in that constant battle of, okay, I want to enjoy life, but I don't want to be part of this, but I also don't want to go back to where I was before. And you're in that limbo where even if you participate in the event, even if you go out, you're not truly enjoying it to the fullest. You're not truly present because you're constantly thinking, okay, this is going to derail me. This is going to put me backwards, etc. So the reality is you can enjoy social events within reason, of course, if you're planning on eating out 5, 6 days a week and, just YOLO the whole entire week. It's not going to happen. It's going to be very unlikely that you're going to be making progress in your fitness journey. But you can enjoy some social events here and there. You can enjoy restaurant meals, date nights, and things like that without compromising your progress. It's all about having the right strategy for it and understanding how to implement it. Okay. Now, as we always bring this up, the all or nothing mindset is holding you back. It is very likely that it's been holding you back, actually. So thinking I can either be 100% on track or totally off the rails. And then when you go and eat a meal that's not on your plan or eat a meal out or have, weekend getaway or something, you go off the rails and then off the rails you stay. You're never back on track because in your mind it's either or, it's always black and white. And the back on track always comes on the next day, on the next Monday, in the future, as if this is something completely outside of your control. Instead, we can find some sort of balance there. We can find some sort of gray area, middle point where we can make the best available choice and move on. Okay. So even if you make a plan, even if you pre-plan things and things don't go according to plan, because guess what? That's life, right? Life is not going to be 100% perfectly aligned with the plan that you make. Sometimes you have to pivot and make the best choice available, but that's the mindset that you have to embrace. Okay, what is going to be the best available choice for me here? What's the next thing for me to do since I cannot do the plan that I had previously in mind? Okay. Now, it's important to say this, and I added this disclaimer just to be, just to make sure that we're on the same page here. Saying that you can doesn't mean that you should. Okay. Or that eating out and having meals out and having events and things like that won't have a negative impact on your progress. It very much depends on where you're at in your journey. It very much depends on your caloric budget. It very much depends on where you're at in terms of the comfort of making certain decisions and how long have you been practicing this, right? I just came back from a week on vacation, and this is probably, I don't know how many times have I done this. So I've been practicing so much that certain things are automatic for me. It's automatic for me to bring my protein powder. It's automatic for me to go to the buffet and get, some oatmeal and mix with my protein powder and have it on my breakfast so I can have extra protein with my eggs and go to the omelet station and ask for the omelet. Those things are automatic for me, but for most people, this is new. If it's the first time that you're going to go on vacation, that you're working on your goals, you don't know. You get to that buffet and you're like, holy hell, what do I do? There's bagels, there's this, there's pastries, there's that, there's whatever. And it's easy to, just fall back to the habits that you've been practicing for so long. So it is important to understand where you're at in your journey. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been practicing certain things? Because the more you practice, the easier it becomes over time. Okay. First time, not that easy. Second time, a little bit easier, and so on and on and on. Okay. Now, again, coming back with the truth, the more meals out that you have, the less control you have over how much you're truly consuming. I don't care if you go to Chick-fil-A, if you go to whatever restaurant and you can see their calories that they state in their menu. I don't care. Restaurants are not meant to cook meals that are aligned with our goals. Restaurants are meant to cook delicious meals, delicious foods, and it typically involves high amount of fat, high amount of oils, even if it is a healthy dish, even if it is a healthy salad, healthy vegetable, whatever, there's always going to be a ton of oils involved, a ton of butter, because it makes things taste better. So the more you eat out, the less of an accurate description of what you're actually eating you're going to have. Okay? Even if you know all the calories in the menu, that is not as accurate as you might think. Okay? And those calories add up over time. So the more you want to be aligned with your plan, the less frequently you want to be eating meals out at restaurants. Okay? Because it is very, very easy for you to go over your calorie budget when you're eating out. Very easy, guys. Very, very easy. Okay? Now, some simple restaurant strategies, and I think that this is, something that we've talked about already, but it's always good to reinforce, because those are good practices to put in place whenever you're going out, whenever, you have, a date night coming up, or you're a girls' night out somewhere else. Look up at the menu ahead of time. Most of them will have the menu online. Decide what you want before you arrive at the place, right? Before you plan that nice dinner, okay, what am I gonna have, right? And take into account, again, the phase that you're in right now, the budget that you have, the flexibility that you may or may not have, because that changes depending on the phase, depending on the season that I'm in. I'm personally in a season of building a body, literally. So I have a bigger budget than when I'm on fat loss. Okay. When I'm on fat loss, you're rarely going to see me eating out and deciding on the spot what I want. I'll probably already have, okay, these are the meals that I know I'm going to have. This is going to how I'm going to allocate, because with fat loss, I want to be in and I want to be out. Because I don't want to live in that limbo of fat loss forever, where I think that I'm dieting, but my actions are not quite reflecting that. So on fat loss, my mindset is totally different. And the way that I make decisions is different, because I want to be the most efficient possible with that time period. Okay. So I will look up the menu ahead of time. I will decide on different things than when I'm not on fat loss, because the budget is different. The budget is very, very different caloric wise. Okay. Then the second thing, prioritize lean protein and build your meal around this. And this principle you're going to carry whether you go to, I don't know, a sushi place, whether you go to a Mexican place, whether you go to a cruise vacation, whether you go to an all-inclusive resort, I don't care. Always keep lean protein as the central part of your meal. And you build your meal around that, pairing it with carbs, veggies, fat sources, if that's the case. But that's going to be like the main center of your meal. And then pick your battles. This is the strategy that I call pick your battles, which is stick to one indulgence. So if you love the bread, if you have a restaurant that you go to and the bread that they serve is absolutely fantastic, and you want to have the bread, have the bread. But then you're saying no to the drinks and you're saying no to the desserts. And the opposite is true. If you love their desserts, if you know that, okay, that place has an amazing tiramisu and that's what I want, go for the tiramisu. But then you say no to the drinks and you say no to the bread. But you got to compromise somewhere. And this is, again, more specifically for when we are on fat loss, that things are a bit tighter, and even on maintenance as well, depending on your caloric budget. right? And how you make those adjustments throughout the day, throughout the week, so on and so forth. But choosing one will typically allow you to have participate in that meal, enjoy the moment, and not go completely full on. Because probably if you account for the bread plus the butter, entrees, drinks, main meal, then desserts, that can easily get to up to 2,000 calories in a restaurant. Easily, right? Just being realistic. And 2,000 calories for a lot of people is even more than what their estimated maintenance is in just one sitting, right? So whether you're aware of this or not, you might be undoing your progress or at least staying the same, plateauing without even realizing it. And then once you like, okay, I'm just gonna say no to the dessert. I'm gonna still do the bread and I'm gonna say no to the dessert. I'm not gonna drink. I'm gonna say no to the drinks. There you have it. You saved yourself another 500, 800 calories, right? But you're still enjoying the time that you're having there. The fourth point here is portion control. Eat half, box the rest before you start. And this is a strategy that I love, which is share with your partner or spouse, whatever you're having as well. So if you are the dessert person and you want to indulge on the dessert, share the dessert, right? Normally it's more than enough for two people. And control the portions in the sense, and the last portion here will actually help you control the portions and how much you end up eating, which is mindful eating. Eating slowly, chewing more, and stopping when you start to feel satisfied, not stuffed, that you have to open up your buttons, right? And this is something that I noticed ever since, we're now sharing meals with Melissa and so on and so forth. And I'm often helping her. So that takes a little bit more time for me to finish my own meals. What I'm noticing is that I'm often satisfied way before I'm actually done with my plate. So it's okay to leave stuff behind, if you are eating out, and if you are eating something that is already off plan, stop when you feel satisfied. There's no problem in leaving food on the plate, despite of what we might have heard when we were kids. It's okay to leave food on the table, on the plate, if you are feeling satisfied, right? But if you eat slowly and you chew more and you just take the time to enjoy that meal, you'll notice that you feel full way sooner than if you're just like, just eating like there's no tomorrow. Now, pro tip. Order lean protein, veggies, and a carb for an easy balanced meal. Meaning, it's easy for you to recognize by looking at your plate what's in it. Right? So a piece of steak, some roasted vegetables on the side, maybe some potatoes or mashed potatoes. That's the dish. That's the plate. Right? Maybe some chicken breast, maybe some white fish. But you have some lean protein in there, you have veggies, you have a carb. You can spot on which one is which. This is the protein, this is the carb, these are the fiber. When we have like a dish where it's a mix of a lot of things, it becomes really hard for you to know exactly what's in there, if there's even protein in there. But when you practice ordering just simpler meals, it makes it easier for you to stick to. And again, it doesn't compromise at all in your experience. One of my favorite meals at the cruise was actually a grilled chicken dish that they had with some vegetables and smashed potatoes on the side. Absolutely delicious. I don't know how they make that chicken breast so juicy and tender. Lots of oil, probably lots of butter on it, but it was still like a really delicious meal. and it didn't have anything super fancy on it. And I could spot on see where each macro was. Okay, so far so good, ladies. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is being helpful. Drop a 2 if you think that I should shut up. Now, alcohol. Smart drinking strategies. First of all, choose wisely, okay? So sticking to low calorie options. And this is by no means saying, yeah, go ahead, you have the green light to drink as much as you want. This is not it, okay? This is, okay, you chose to drink. Let's then choose a less, the least, what I want to say, the best option, get the best option within all the alcohol options that we have. So vodka soda, dry wine, tequila on ice. Beers, they're going to be more caloric dense. And just like sugary mixers and different types of drinks, that can add up really, really fast because there's not only the calories that comes from the alcohol itself, but also the sugars and the mixers and the things that they add onto it, okay? But the best thing that you can do is to set a limit before you start drinking, okay? So before you go out to drink, before you, get together with friends or family or whatever, decide with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody else. You just have to tell yourself, I'll have a maximum of 2 drinks tonight. I'll have a glass of wine tonight. Obviously, that glass has to be like a reasonable, like size glass, because you know what I mean? But set that agreement with yourself. Have that agreement with yourself before you go to the event, before you start drinking. Because then you know your limit. You know, okay, I'm going to drink this, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm done. Okay, set that limit. Also, make sure to hydrate between drinks to slow down absorption and just helps reduce cravings overall. And it just slows down the whole entire process in general. So make sure that you're always drinking water in between. Okay. Skip the sugary mixers, just like we said, and eat a protein-rich meal before drinking, because that avoids, binge eating later, and it just slows down absorption again. Because once in the body, alcohol is a toxin. So the body, we want to get rid of it as fast as possible too. So there's that. But it's not a really good combination, lots of alcohol with lots of fatty foods at the same time. So try to have a protein-rich meal before drinking. Don't drink on an empty stomach or anything like that. And make sure to have loads of water in between. Pro tip, track your drinks to account for the calorie content, okay? Alcohol has calories. Alcohol is almost as caloric dense as fats. So if fats has 9 calories per gram, alcohol has 7 calories per gram. Just the alcohol itself, okay? And it's not a part of any macro. Alcohol is not a carb. Alcohol is not protein, is not fat. Alcohol is quote unquote the 4th macronutrient. So, and it does have calories. And like I said, if you are even going for mixed drinks and stuff like that, it can add up really, really easily, okay? Another thing that I would suggest for those of you who do track your macros is to, and you drink at the same time, test how much a 5-ounce glass of wine actually looks like. Because often when you go out in restaurants, often when, other people are serving you, oh, this is probably 5 ounces of wine. This is probably 6 ounces of wine. When in reality, it's probably 9 or 10. If you actually grab the food scale and weigh it. Now, I'm not saying that you should bring your food scale to the restaurant or to the bar. Don't do that, okay? Don't be that person. What I wanted to do when you're at home and you decide that you're going to open up a bottle of wine, you did all this before, right? You planned ahead, you know exactly how much you're going to be drinking. Put it on the food scale, tear it, and pour the glass of wine that you would normally get, right? Or get like 5 ounces on there, just so you can visually see what it looks like. So you know that the next time you're estimating that you had, 6 ounces of wine, you'll know if you're off track or on track, or if you're in the ballpark or not. But typically, we underestimate how much we drink and how much we eat by a lot. So I would do that exercise just for the shits and giggles, that just for so you know visually what it looks like. Just like we know when you weigh your chicken breast, you know how 100 grams look like. Same thing with the 5-ounce glass of wine. What does it actually look like? And if you are drinking at home, if this is something that you do constantly, do that every time, because then at least you're accounting for the amount that you're actually drinking. And when tracking in MyFitnessPal, there's a way to do it. And if you are going to do it, just ask one of us for instructions on how to do it correctly. We do have a guide on it as well. If you don't have it, I will share at the end. But there's a way to track it accurately in MyFitnessPal, okay? But make sure that you're tracking and accounting for those calories. Now, another thing too, sparkling water and lime in a fancy glass can easily be disguised as an alcoholic drinking in social situations. So if you have decided that you're not going to drink, but you still want to like mingle with people and you want to be social, just find a non-alcoholic beverage and put it in a fancy glass. Sparkling water and lime, delicious. And just, mingle with that and have conversations with people with that. Nobody's going to ask if you're having vodka soda in that or not. So if you miss having that social aspect of it, just that can be easily disguised as a fun drink that you're having. Now, vacation and event strategies. So first one, staying active, walking more, hitting a workout, playing a sport, being active. Okay. So when on vacation, obviously you don't need to be necessarily working out every single day, every single hour of the day and be hitting 10,000 steps. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is make being active a part of who you are. Make being active and like choosing the hard way a part of what you do. Like when everybody else is taking the escalator and you take the stairs, like be that person. That will help. Just like with the overall energy expenditure, this doesn't apply to Carrie because Carrie already like blows it out of the window for everybody else. Everyone except for Carrie needs to be more active in general outside of the gym. And you need to be intentional about it. Like a silly way that I found that I can be more, I know we're talking about vacation here, but I'm just going to use my example at home. When we were just organizing baby stuff before the baby was even born, there's those diaper caddy stations to change diapers. And most people would recommend, oh, you can have one in your bedroom, one upstairs, one downstairs, so you don't have to go up and down the stairs all the time. I was like, no, I'm just gonna have one upstairs. And if I'm downstairs and I have to change her diaper, we're gonna go upstairs. And like, it's silly, pain in the butt for a lot of people, but it helps because when you're at home and you're not doing much, going up and down the stairs a few times helps. So find ways to get out of your comfort zone and be more active. And same thing on vacation. If you can, take the stairs. If you can, walk more instead of, asking for a ride or whatever. Because that helps with maintaining at least the results. Okay. Vacation, the goal is maintaining. So maintaining an active lifestyle will help with that. Follow the 80-20 rule or 80-20 guideline, which helps you enjoy indulgences, but keeping protein and veggies in check. So if you are consuming enough protein and veggies, protein and fiber, you're really not going to crave the other stuff that much. Sure, you still will indulge, you still will try some things, but it's not the same craving and the same like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go crazy on this, because you are already satisfied. Your body is already pretty nourished. The third, bank calories, but hit your protein so you're not starving. So when we talk about banking calories and saving calories for later, we mean save your calories, yes, but from carbs and fats, but maintain your protein, veggies throughout the day so you're not starving at the event or whatever you go. Because that's the worst thing that you can do is arrive at a restaurant, arrive at an event starving, because you're going to eat everything on site. So make sure that you are hitting your protein throughout the day, that you're having your vegetables throughout the day, and then you just save your carbs, save your fats for later at night, okay? And if you're having an event that you can bring food, bring a healthy option, bring, a protein centered option. So you always have a good choice to choose from. And as I always say, you might not have control over what's being served, but you always have control over what you choose to put in your mouth. Nobody's there with you pointing a gun to your head and shoveling food down your throat and making you make all of these choices, right? You are the one responsible for choosing what you end up eating and how much you end up eating, right? Because you can still try things, but you don't have to stuff your face with things. And then lastly, get back on track immediately. No, like, oh, I'll start on Monday. I'll get back on track when I'm back because then I'll have all my food prep. No, don't wait for your food prep. Like, what can you do now? What is the next best thing that you can do that's going to be more aligned with your goals? Now, this is pretty much a cheat sheet or a script on how to set boundaries and stay in control. Because based on conversations that we've had with a lot of you, the main challenge or one of the main challenges is the peer pressure or what people will think, or, oh, my husband, oh, my sister, my this, my that. And it's the other people. Again, you have to regain control and you have to understand that you are in control. What ends up in your mouth ain't nobody else's fault. You're the only one responsible for that, right? So you have to set that boundary and you have to confidently state your decisions. That doesn't mean being rude. That doesn't mean being a jerk. So here are a few ways that you can say things, that you can say no without necessarily being a jerk. They offer you a drink. I'm good with one drink, thanks. That's it, right? I'm good, thanks. Or I'm not a fan of this type of dessert, so I'll skip it. Or this doesn't sit well on my stomach, so I'll skip it. You lied. I don't care, just lie. This is a white lie. This is a nice lie. This is a lie that's going to benefit you. Because you don't want to get into an argument of, oh, I'm on this plan, and on this plan, I can't have this. So I'll have to skip it, but I really, really wanted it. Oh, so have it. So live it a little. Live it a little. Why you're being so boring? And then you end up having, because the other person is pressuring you into having it. But again, the responsibility is yours. Because first, you are the one responsible for what goes into your mouth. And second, you are the one responsible for how you set the boundaries and how you respond to the other person and how to respond to external factors. So you don't owe anyone any explanation of what you do or what you don't do. You can just, hey, I really don't want it. Thank you. That's it. And if they start bugging you about it, that's their problem, not yours. It's because they want to make all of those choices, but they deep down know that they shouldn't, and they want you to participate so they feel less guilty. So there's that too. There's the, old blank, no thanks. I'm not really hungry. Good. I feel better when I eat this way. It's just my preference. I already ate, but I'd love to hang out. That's it. That's it. Simple. You can respond in any ways, any of these ways. You're not going to be being a jerk. You're being polite, but you're stating your boundaries and you're staying in control of your decisions, right? But you have to have that control. You have to have that confidence in what you're choosing. Not just like, oh, I'll see when I get there. I'll think about it. If you have an event that you're gonna go and you're gonna meet people and you know there's food involved and you know there's alcohol involved and you might have a hard time with the decision-making process, you have to make that decision for yourself before you leave home, not there. Because there, you're not going to be in your environment. The likelihood of you making a poor decision is going to be very, very high because people will notice that you're still trying to decide what to do. You're not decisive. You're not confident in your choice. When you get to the event, you get to the place and you know, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm saying. I'm good. People notice that, right? Shoulders back, chest up, posture, the way you say things. If you're just like, oh, I really wanted it, but I shouldn't. You lost it already. You lost it already, right? So confidently own your choices. People respect what you respect. And if you want people to respect your choices, you need to respect yourself first. That's the first thing. No one owe anyone any respect unless the one that you confidently stay in. Okay? And I think that's it, ladies. Tonight was a bit faster, a bit quicker than the other ones. Now let me see if there's any questions in there. If anybody wants to jump in and unmute yourself and add some insights or questions, feel free to do so as I'm going through the questions here. Oh yeah, Kaylee, 3-story townhouse and running up and down the stairs, more with a baby has definitely made a difference. Yep. Wait until she's like 20 pounds. And
She's
it's like
already
your
so
little
heavy.
dumbbell that you're carrying all day long.
I know. I think about the fact that she was only 7 pounds when she was born, and the fact that she's now twice that.
Wow.
And yeah, it's crazy how much they grow in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to continue being strong because she's only going to get bigger. And yeah, no, that's awesome. But it makes a difference. Going up and down the stairs and doing all these things definitely helps. Yes, leaving the Clean Plate Club was a huge step for me. I always grew up feeling like I needed to finish everything. And like this is these things are gonna pop up even more. Like for those of you that are moms, or as your babies grow up a bit and start eating, you want to transfer some of those habits to them. So I want her to see me leaving food on my plate, and I want her to be okay if she leaves food on her plate as well, if she's full. Right. And I'm not going to go in there and finish her plate just because we don't throw food away. Because that mentality of, okay, I'm not going to throw this food away, but I'm going to eat it. So my body is a trash can, you know? So, and it's important for them to very early on start modeling, start to see that happens because I grew up like that. Oh, you have to clean your plate or you don't leave the table. And that's not really super helpful because then we're not in tune with our hunger cues. We lose sight of that. Um, okay, any questions or anything like that? Diana, perfect because I'm going to a sushi place. People think I'm restricting exhibiting eating disorder behaviors just because I have goals. Find it sometimes tough to explain and get some people just don't get it. I remember you mentioned this once, Kaylee. Like people, when you say people, you mean like people at your church, people, family, or
I feel like it's friends. I feel like especially like uh people around my age, there's such a culture around like, oh, we were raised in a society that promoted kind of like eating disorder behavior, and so we need to be more, we can like reclaim like mindful eating and being
Mm,
okay with like the dessert. And that's fine. And I agree with that. Like, obviously, I don't want anyone to restrict themselves, especially like well below maintenance for extended periods of time. But it's like when you have specific goals in different chapters of your life, like sometimes it necessitates a caloric deficit, and there's only so many ways to do that. So, anyway,
yeah,
it's mostly friends, I would say.
yeah, yeah. And do you feel like you have to be explaining yourself when you make choices or
I think
now?
maybe more of it's in my head.
Mm,
And I just don't want other people. I've also had friends who have gone through eating disorders, and I worry that my behavior might trigger them.
mm.
Um, and sometimes yeah, I just need to like not worry about that and just take care of myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of
And
my.
even reframing that, Kaylee, because like what exactly, what kind of behavior do you feel that it might trigger them?
um like So, for example, this is more of like a family example, but I had family in town for like a week. And they love to go out to eat. Like my mom hates to cook and only wants to go out to eat. And so my mom wanted to go out to eat twice in one day. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, mom, is it okay? I know this is kind of weird, but is it okay if I bring one meal to one of our outings and then I'll eat out at the second time? And like I pre-logged that dinner or whatever. And so like some of my family members were like a little weird about it, like, oh, like you're on a diet and stuff. Like you look so great postpartum. Are you still trying to lose more weight?
Oh,
And I was just like, yeah, I have a specific goal I'm working towards. And since we're eating out twice, I had figured I would just eat one of my kind of meals.
yeah.
So like you get around it, but it just sometimes feels a little awkward, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. And especially because you almost feel that judgment from them, like, oh, why are you doing this? Right? Nobody else does it.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And like my grandma, she'll just like make comments. Like she definitely, I think, had an eating disorder at one point because she would always text me during pregnancy and be like, "Oh, just so you know, I only gained 20 pounds when I was pregnant, and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Well, that's great, Grandma. I'm gonna lean towards, eating as much as my baby needs and worry about what I'll look like afterwards."
yeah, I think
So
it's a generational thing too.
yeah,
Because I've
yeah.
heard that from my grandmas are no longer alive, but I heard that from my mom when from some aunts. Oh, I just gained this much. Oh, how much did you gain? Like, yeah, it
It's
doesn't
like it's irrelevant. I don't know why we're discussing
totally
it.
irrelevant.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're the generation that they smoked when pregnant, so it was allowed to smoke when pregnant. So, but anyways, but back to the main point. I feel like in some situations, I would add a little white lie if it makes you feel more comfortable. Just like, oh, this doesn't sit well in my stomach. Oh, are you on a diet plan? Not really, but I'm not feeling super well. These foods are not sitting well in my stomach, and I want to make sure that I'm, producing my milk and blah, 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 whatever. If it makes you feel more comfortable, with those types of answers because it is really hard to project on other people and expect them to understand what we do, right? Because it's like it's a whole conversation that you have to go through. Now, like skipping dessert or saying no to dessert and things like that, that could again very well be that just because you don't enjoy it. So white lies like that, oh, I don't like this type of dessert, I'll skip it. That doesn't mean that that doesn't necessarily mean that you are restricting yourself, right? So some sort of white lie sometimes, I think it's beneficial, no harm for anybody, and it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable saying no around these types of situations. Personally, that's what I would do. Like with family, I'm I'm blessed that my family is very far from me. So I only have to give excuses like maybe once every 5 years. But yeah, well, but they know that I'm in the space in the industry, so it's a different story. But I'll often just like disguise and change the subject or just come up with something else. I very rarely will bring up that I'm working towards a goal or something like that. Just because I know that that sparks a conversation that it's not going to be super productive anyways.
I was gonna say, I think it's like with anything, if people aren't like familiar with what you're doing, or it's not something they're, in the know about, or it's different than what they're doing, it's like so easy for people to
Oh yeah.
like have a weird reaction to it, right? Like there's so many nuances to what we are all doing, right? Like we keep learning and there's so much to the plan, and I don't know if I'm saying what I'm actually thinking, but like I guess, it's like easy to ostracize if you're not doing what the whole rest of society is doing, like eating fast food and eating like the prepared stuff that is killing everyone around us. And you know what I mean? Like, so it's almost like an ignorance thing. It's easy to poke holes at something just because you don't know enough about it, They don't know enough about maybe what we're working at, what we're immersed in.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's a projection, right? It's all about we all project what we believe in and our own insecurities. So most people deep down, even if they say otherwise, most people would love to be able to, get healthy, get fit, and be confident in their bodies. They would love to do it, but it's hard. And you're doing the hard work and they're not. So it's a reminder for them that, oh, she's right here and she's able to do it and I'm not. What the heck? Let me bring her back here. It's the analogy like the crab of the bucket of crabs, that whenever a crab starts to climb up the bucket and try to escape it, there's always another crab that pulls them back in um, because they want to keep everybody around the same. So whenever we state that we are serious about our goals and we are doing this, and obviously it is different than the majority because the majority of people are not fit. The majority of people are not healthy. And they're going to have habits that are not aligned with what fit and healthy people do. If you start getting around fit people, you notice that what we do is the norm. Because what's normal depends on our environment. What's normal for our environment. So if you surround yourself with fit people, it's going to be the norm to choose the protein, to ask for egg whites, to do this and this and that. It's the norm. But if you go out with unfit people, you're going to be the weird one. So it's not necessarily the behavior, but the environment and the people that you surround yourself with and their projections that's based on what they believe in. Which is, sometimes challenging to navigate, but that's why we're here. That's why we created this community too. So you feel that you're not the weird one, and that we are, creating healthy habits that will last a long time and that you can carry on for life as well. And some of these things, like I said in the beginning, will become the norm. Will become your normal very, very soon, the more you repeat them over time. Okay. Anybody else has questions or anything that they'd like to share? Or we're good? Good, good. So, wait, hi, Vera.
Hey,
Yes.
sorry, I just want to ask you a quick question. You probably didn't see it in the chat, but macro guide, you have like a little cheat sheet for spirits. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that is for like a 1 ounce or 1.5 ounce. Like it doesn't say like what the unit of measure is. So I'm just curious because if I needed to log like carbs for carbs or fats for fats, I just wasn't sure.
Which one are you talking about?
You know, in your macro guide,
Yes. Which one? The 70-page one or the eating out?
the really long one.
Yeah.
And the little cheat sheet one, like little section where you just have like vodka, whatever, like all the common spirits.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know,
I have to
like
check.
one
I
shot,
have to
right?
check exactly what the portion is.
yeah. I'm assuming it's like a shot. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the right way for you to track those or to find those, find the calories and then divide it by the number 4 or 9 if you want to log it as carbs or fats. If you can't find it in the cheat sheet, just Google it. How many calories does an ounce of this or that?
okay.
Should be estimated enough.
And then like log it as carbs.
Carbs or fats.
Okay. So don't bother like finding it in my Fitness Pal like as vodka. Just make it as my own entry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You literally search for carbs
Yeah.
and you enter the number of grams that's equivalent from the math that you just did. So
Okay.
120 calories from wine, you divide it by 4, that's 30, equivalent to 30 grams of carbs. So you go and search for carbs
Yeah.
in MyFitnessPal and log 30 grams of carbs.
Okay.
Sometimes you can find wine as carbs or
Yeah.
wine as fats. But it doesn't really matter as long as you're logging the correct amount that's equivalent to the calorie amount of that beverage.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Anybody else has any questions? No? All right, so we're good. I will share the eating out guide, like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, the eating out guide, eating out at restaurants, and protein fasting plan, macro tracking guide. I will share all of those links inside the WhatsApp group later on, so you can have access to those resources as well. And yeah, it was a pleasure seeing you ladies tonight, and I hope that this is helpful. Always make sure to share any insights in the WhatsApp group as well, and I hope you have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.